Hello! Our group's Ignite presentation is on Bethesda Softworks, a game development company that has been around since the dawn of gaming. If you enjoy single-player games, you've probably heard of them. The studio was founded by Christopher Weaver in 1986, and it definitely came from humble beginnings. Starting with Christopher's personal savings, Bethesda was designed to see if games could sell well on PC. Their first project, Gridiron, was a hit on the Atari and performed so well as the first physics-based sports game that Electronic Arts, or EA, enlisted Bethesda to help them finish their upcoming game, John Madden Football, or just Madden today. This is what Bethesda's logo looks like, but when it started, it looked more like this. Their headquarters was moved out of Bethesda, Maryland to Rockwell, Maryland in 1990, which is only a 20-minute drive between cities. Weaver eventually left Bethesda to found their parent company, ZeniMax, and their current CEO, Todd Howard, was hired in 1994. Bethesda's mission statement reads, "To enable our world-class designers and developers to create the best and most immersive gaming experiences," which insinuates that they let the best developers utilize a lot of their own creative control to make great games. Here are some notable game releases. Some top series of theirs include Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, and Doom, while Quake is also fairly popular. There are not many better single-player experiences than a Fallout game, specifically Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Surprisingly, Fallout Shelter, a mobile game, is their highest-grossing game of all time, meaning it has raked in the most money for them. While this game is surely not the most popular game on this list, that title would likely go to Skyrim, it is something that their big-budget console games thankfully lack: microtransactions. This means that rather than paying $60 for a game once, or 4 times on new console releases, players spend smaller amounts more often to level up or complete certain tasks in the game faster. Being released in 2015, Fallout Shelter has been gaining consistent revenue for 6 years. Enough about Bethesda's history, let's look at what's going on today. In just September, Bethesda released an experimental game called Deathloop on PS5 and PC. Think of Deathloop as Groundhog Day, but with a lot more action and violence. They are also starting to build hype for a new game to be released in 2022, Starfield, which is another single-player RPG to add to their arsenal. With their track record in the genre, it should be a pretty great game. We can't talk about the good news without talking about the bad, though. Bethesda has still not earned back the respect of some gamers after the atrocious release of Fallout 76, the first multiplayer Fallout game ever. Upon launch, the game was riddled with bugs and was so poorly optimized that it was almost unplayable. A whopping 44% of users on Google liked the game, which is the minority of the players who voted. Alright, enough trash talking this absolutely terrible idea that almost killed the entire company and was executed even worse than it was planned. At least it wasn't as bad as Cyberpunk. Bethesda does have games that are in esports, but not their most popular hits, as those are primarily single player. Quake is their only game in professional esports, and their 2021 tournament had a respectable $150,000 prize pool. Unfortunately, their peak viewers only hit 11,398 people, ranking it fairly low on the popularity chart. They aren't too upset about this, I'm sure, because as I stated before, they are primarily focused on open-world action role-play single-player games. Throughout this project, we learned that Bethesda wasn't always a powerhouse in the gaming industry. They started out in basically a garage and worked their way up to one of the biggest names in gaming with no major fallouts. It was interesting to see that their most popular game is actually their mobile Fallout game, seeing as it is also most likely their lowest effort game. We believe Bethesda is so successful because they truly have a passion for creating good games rather than cheap cash grabs, and they aren't afraid to try new ideas and release them. They also had a hard-working founder who built them from the ground up.